All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the event. We were going to start very, very soon, but I think we're still waiting for some people. In the meantime, my name is Ian. If you have any questions for our panelists today, please feel free to put them in the chat. Yeah, usual rules apply for Zoom webinars. I think everyone's very familiar with them by now. Please stay muted. If you want to ask a question, you can use the raise hand function. And in a bit, I'm going to be introducing our panelists. But for now, just hang tight and we'll speak to you in a few minutes.
Yes, thank you, Ian, and hello, thank you for joining us, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to meet again, discussing the state of press freedom in Southeast Asia. I'm Ikan Ningtyas, a Secretary General from AJI Indonesia. Actually, this is going to be a dark year for us in Indonesia after seeing the election result where the presidential candidate Prabowo and Gibran, human rights violator and the symbol of current dynastic power of Indonesian politics, has a good chain of the winner for this election. Yeah, basically we are waiting for the real count result, but all the pollsters who have conducted quick count so that trouble pair as a winner. If the real count result same with quick count, we are pessimistic that Indonesian press freedom will be better. On the contrary, we will face a more difficult situation because so far, Prabowo and Gibran have no serious commitment to protect press freedom. Well, last year in 2023, we recorded 89 cases of attack on Indonesian journalists and the media. That number is the highest incident in a decade. Some of the latest Indonesian election trend is the similar what happened in this region, especially maybe with Philippine election. So we see how the trend in one country quickly spread to other countries, albeit with their own characteristic. This will, I'm sure, also will be giving a huge effect for press freedom in Southeast Asia in general. Last year, press freedom monitoring in Southeast Asia documented at least 203 cases of attack on journalists and media, affecting more than 300 media workers and media companies. Media workers were the worst of victim of this attack, facing physically attack in the dominant case that we record as accident. On the other hand, digital attack represents almost 20%, and the legal attack about around 19% of the total attacks that we documented. From the data, so how the type of censorship against the media and independent journalists in Southeast Asia are increasingly complex and continuous from the year and year. In the midst of this pressure, the media still has to survive to find a more sustainable and healthier business model for critical journalism. Yeah, so we need to find new and more strategic breakthrough to find this solution together. We must believe that only by strengthening joint consolidation at the regional level is the key to building resilience and effort to provide joint resistance. Hopefully, this discussion can spark us all to explore this new breakthrough together, how we can to have best practice maybe from each country. So from the best practice, we can to explore more about the new strategy or new solution, how we can to strengthen of these challenges together. Thank you for all the speakers, and for the moderator who helped us to host this discussion. So yes, thank you everyone. Happy discussion. Ian, over to you.
Thanks, Ika. So yeah, I think we can get started. Welcome everybody. My name is Ian Yee, and I'm an investigative journalist based in Malaysia. I'm currently the ICFJ's investigative editor for the Asia Investigative Reporting Network. It's an initiative by ICFJ to establish a network here for investigative journalists in Southeast Asia. So if you want to find out more about that, I'll leave my email in the chat. But today we're here. I've been invited by Aji and PFMC to moderate this session. So it's definitely something I would have wanted to attend anyway. But when they asked me to moderate it as well, so it's like, sure, I get to attend and I get to choose all the questions. So it's definitely a win-win for me. Anyway, now we're going to go straight to our panelists. I'm going to do a quick introduction. First of all, we have Mark Lino J. Abila, who is the editor-in-chief of Pinoy Weekly in the Philippines. He's going to be highlighting specific incidents, country-specific examples of repression in terms of press freedom. We also have Niputu Chandra Dewi from Manusaya Foundation. She is the foundation's advocacy and campaign associate for democracy and digital rights. Finally, we have Notvi, who's the executive director of Cambodia, who is representing PFMC today. So without any further delay, I'm going to pass the time over to Mark. Take it away, Mark.
So thanks, Ian. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you very much for inviting me to be a member of the panel for this event, for this webinar. So can we please ask can I ask Novi to please share the presentation that I prepared? Thank you. So my presentation centers on the cyber attacks that our alternative media outfits as well as mainstream media organizations here in the Philippines that experienced before and during the 2022 presidential elections in the Philippines. So my presentation is it outlines the timeline of the attacks from 2018 up to 2020. So currently, just to have a quick rundown of the attacks experienced by the media here in the Philippines. So in 2018, that was in December. So bulatlat.com, an alternative news organization here in the Philippines, alternative media organization, published a article regarding the armed struggle of the Communist Party of the Philippines or the New People's Army. So that was in December 24. So Bulatlat experienced a DDoS attack on December 24, and then they asked us, Pinoy Weekly, Alter Media, Kodao, and other alternative media outfits here in the Philippines to publish their work because their website was currently experiencing a cyber attack during that time. So after we published the story regarding the New People's Army, then the attacks came for us, for Pinoy Weekly, Alter Media, and other alternative media institutions here in the country. And then the following year, the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines also experienced cyber attacks, as well as Kodao and Alter Media on February 4 of 2019. Next, please. In 2020, during the lockdown, the attacks stopped for a while, and then in 2021, there have been attacks from May to December on different news organizations here in the Philippines. So from May, there's Bulatlat, June, Bulatlat, Kodao, Alter Media, Pinoy Weekly in November, December, ABS-CBN, Rappler, and Vera Files. So in 2022, the attacks continued, and there have been attacks on almost every major news outlet and also on the alternative media. So that's how the attacks went from 2018 to 2022. So from the attacks on in 2018, we were able to trace from 2018 to 2019, we were able to trace through the help of our partners in Curium Media, a Sweden-based organization helping us with our cybersecurity and hosting. So they were able to trace the attacks from two IT companies here in the Philippines. And then we decided, Buratlat, Kodao, and other alternative media outfits decided to file a case against those two companies. So we were able to win that case. But in 2021, when the cyber attacks continued, Curium was also able to trace the attacks from the Philippine Army by using the infrastructure of the Department of Information and Communications Technology. So the forensic analysis, the forensic investigation on the cyber attacks proves our suspicion that these cyber attacks on our websites was sponsored by the Philippine government, was done by the Philippine government, particularly by the military. So next, please. So from then on, the events also escalated from other to other forms of censorship. So Pinoy Weekly publishes a weekly news magazine in print. So we distribute our newspaper in communities that we serve. We have a very limited circulation. So it's easy for us to track if our paper was being confiscated, was being burned by state forces and other elements, state elements. So next, please. So this was the story about the New People's Army in Bicol. So we republished it on our websites, on our respective websites back then. So this was the story that I think the cyber attack targeted. Next, please. And these were photos of the confiscation of our newspaper back in 2020 and in 2021 during the COVID-19 lockdown. So this was before the elections. So during the elections, we were able to cover it. We were able to report it. But next, please. But after the elections in June, a month before former President Duterte stepped down from office, his national security advisor, next slide please, his national security advisor, Hermogenes Esperon, wrote to the National Telecommunications Commission saying that these following websites, these following organizations were fronts of the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front. And then in total, there were 27 websites that he wants to be blocked inside here in the Philippines. So he wrote on June 6, and then in response, the National Telecommunications Commission issued a memorandum to internet service providers here in the Philippines to block 27 websites, including the websites of Pinoy Weekly and Bulatlat. So as of today, Pinoy Weekly is still inaccessible inside the Philippines. So you can still access our website if you're outside the Philippines or if you're using a VPN. But if you do not have those kind of technology in your devices, you cannot access our main website, which is pinoyweekly.org. This blocking of our website forced us to build a mirror website. So that's pinoyweekly.net. And then we're still able to publish and distribute our stories online. We're still able to publish our newspaper in print and distribute it to our communities. But the blocking also affected the distribution of news inside the country, especially those who do not have access to our print publication. As of today, also, the website of bulatlat.com is already accessible due to a preliminary injunction of the Quezon City Trial Court, Regional Trial Court. So they were able to tell to order the National Telecommunications Commission to lift the blocking of Bulatlat. But for the part of Pinoy Weekly, we're still blocked. We still do not have a lot of people that have the access unless they access our website through our mirror site. These attacks from 2018 up to 2022 culminated with this order from the National Security Council and National Telecommunications Commission. So it is also mentioned by the UN Special Rapporteur Irene Can recently that this order from the Philippine government is a direct form of censorship for the media on the Philippine media. She also asked if the National Telecommunication Commission could lift could lift the blocking of our websites, including several other websites of different progressive and people's organizations. Also, a few weeks ago, on Monday, like this February, we also wrote, along with Bulatlat and other organizations, we wrote to the National Telecommunications Commission asking the commissioner to revoke this memorandum dated June 8, 2022, ordering the blocking of 27 websites. So we're still in the process of campaigning against this order, against this blocking of our website. We're also beefing up our campaign for this after the visit and the recommendations of the UN Special Rapporteur on freedom of opinion and expression. So we're also doing what we're doing. We're just business as usual. As of today, we cannot stop doing our duty. We cannot stop publishing stories. So even if our website is still blocked inside the country, inside our country, we're still trying our best, doing our best in doing our job to deliver important news and information to our readers and audience. That's it for me.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mark. So how does this have an effect on the work that you do? I mean, aside from clearly not being able to connect directly with your audience in the country, has that had a spillover effect on other aspects of your work?
Of course, not everyone has an access to a VPN. So, or not everyone knows that we have a mirror website. So it's a difficulty for us to distribute our content, the information and news that we publish, but we have alternative channels that we use to distribute. We also utilize social media and messaging apps such as Telegram and Viber to distribute our content to a wider audience, especially those who do not have access to our print.
Right. So using other platforms, social media, messaging apps in order just to get your work out there. Right, great. Thank you so much for that. And I'm sure people will have more questions for Mark. If you do, please use the Q&A function in the tab at the bottom. Now we're good. Thanks a lot, Mark. Now we're going to go to our next panelist, Niputu Chandra Dewi. Uh, please go ahead. Take it away. Chandra, you. Okay. Hi.
Could you please, the administrator, give access to me because I wanted to share my presentation. Oh, yeah. Now I am a co-host. Let me share first. Okay, so my part would be media censorship, the experiences and regional trend in Southeast Asia. Just like our moderator introduced me, myself currently the Advocacy and Campaign Associate at Manusaya Foundation, the intersectional feminist human rights organization that based in Bangkok, Thailand. And my name is Niputu Chandra Dewi. You can call me Chandra. Okay, so I open my presentation with the map of our region, Southeast Asia. Apologize, I missed to put East Timor, but East Timor also part of our region, especially since last year when entering the ASEAN. This is the latest World Press Freedom and Index in the Southeast Asia. As we can read together, we can see how we left behind in the term of press freedom. And if we wanted to seeking for the good news, actually that's about East Timor, because as I remember, currently the World Press Freedom Index positioning East Timor on the 10th place. So in the still a big 20 or big 50, and others, the rest of Southeast Asian country on the below of 100, and only Malaysia that's still in the 100 group, which is 73, but that's also considering not really good. So we can see as the overview here how important for us in the region, just like what Mbak Ika mentioned before in the introduction, in her opening speech, to boost the solidarity among the media organization or independent press organization. And then in Manusaya Foundation, we work on freedom of expression, including democracy and digital rights, by seeking justice before a United Nations system. The latest one that involved or related to media freedom, we submitted the joint submission under the ASEAN Regional Coalition to Stop Digital Dictatorship. That was happened on early of 2022. As you can see in the screen, the freedom, independence, diversity of media, and the safety of journalists in the Southeast Asia. And under this coalition, the ASEAN Regional Coalition to Stop Digital Dictatorship, actually this coalition was born in 2020. Currently consists of 11 human rights organizations that focusing on human rights in general, not only digital rights, because we are using intersectional lens or intersectional approach. So both of the voices from the digital rights expert or freedom of expression experts and the lived experience accommodate here. And the other things that we are doing on a daily basis, we also responding what happening in the region by develop the joint solidarity statement. This is the just one of example of joint solidarity statement, but we usually publish a joint solidarity statement like 2 or 3 months, depends on the events that need to be responded. And I put this one because this is the one that closest about media freedom or media censorship. It was happened in July 2023, and regarding Cambodia, democracy in peril. But I wouldn't explain more here because there is also college from Cambodia that I believe can explain more deeply regarding the situation in Cambodia. And next, about the trend of media censorship in Southeast Asia. So the trend actually same. We can see the restrictive legislation and then the intimidation, even the murder of journalists, and the decline to the commitment to a freedom of expression of mainly Southeast Asian country. And it's reflected from the rank that I saw before in our presentation. And this is putting our democracy, also online democracy, under attack because there is blurry law and such an expensive law that used to criminalize and legitimate the online speech and infringe upon the individual's right of the freedom of expression by their way actually by granting the government's sweeping mentoring powers over our digital space and communication. In Thailand, there is less bias, and in another country in Southeast Asia, there is a sedition, a slander, and a fake news. That's just a few of the offenses that invoke to threaten and punish journalists, also citizen journalists or individuals that speaking the truth and exercising our human rights to a free expression online and also offline. And yeah, furthermore, government's effort to limit freedom of expression, we can say it as censorship. And usually, government take downs of a content on a social media platform, and this imposition being introduced under the protecting such as cybersecurity or weaponizing justification of a fake news. And all of these aspects, along with a lack of a procedural safeguards and independent oversight, as well as a problematic appeals process that shrinking in our online as daily basis or offline civic space in this region. And then I wanted to show one by one the country cases about media censorship in Southeast Asia. In most of sea countries, there is a range of existing laws that are being used to address for censorship of media, such as penal codes, electronic information laws, or like in Indonesia, the notorious of IET law, cyber laws, and the telecommunication laws. In Myanmar, the military has created an environment of fear and cracked down the dissenting voices, with at least 114 journalists and media staff arrested in the end of 2021. So the number is increasing because, as we know, now we are in the 2024, and 43 are still detained. And then in January 2021, there is an editor and reporter were sued by the military under a section 66D of the telecommunication law for publishing a news story about alleged military corruption. And in addition, since the coup, the State Administration Council has amended a few laws and enacted a draft of a cybersecurity law, which further creates the legal basis for a violation of online freedom. The work of journalists put in online or just a conventional media is further restricted by the licensing regime that imposed, as new agencies and websites are required to register prior to producing content. And moreover, the provision under the penal code includes, this is also include the wide-ranging restriction on freedom of expression, while the 2014 amended electronic transaction law and its 2021 amendment restrict expression through electronic transaction technology and establish such a harsh criminal sanction for those who are convicted. And for the post-coup crackdown on free media came after the military repeatedly it threatened to revoke media licenses if they continued using the words such as a regime or junta. So there is such a word that cannot be used by the press in Myanmar. And many private news media companies have been banned for disobeying the junta's command or demand. And those who attempt to remain operational have faced a strict censorship. So this is also about a business model, like what I mentioned previously by the first speaker. Then we move to the next country. The next country is Malaysia. So even Malaysia, considering better compared to the rest Southeast Asian country, but the governing powers maintain a tight grip on people, restricting the civil liberties through oppressive mechanism and a strict legal provision. The government used the defamation provision under the penal code in order to silencing journalists, not only journalists, but also opposition lawmaker, activists, and individual who criticizing the regime. An example, between March 2020 and February 2021, there were 66 cases involving 77 individuals initiated under the Sedition Act and Section 233 of the CMA. And for instance, the next about a blogger, Dian Abdullah, was charged under a Section 505B of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the CMA for criticizing the king and the prime minister in her blog post published in March 2020. Furthermore, journalists and online news outlets have been repeatedly subjected by investigation and as a target for a prosecution because of their critical reporting, as in case of Tasni Sukumaran, a South China Morning Post correspondent and the international broadcaster of Al Jazeera. And the next Southeast Asian country is Laos PDR. In Laos, actually the sole legal party has consistently imposed restriction on traditional media and online media using the provision under the penal code such as a slander and propaganda against states or national security to persecute those who defame state authority and target critics of the government. And moreover, a series of legal provision under the penal code impose the unlawful restriction on freedom of expression and media freedom in the basis of the national security or quote-unquote a public order. And other legislation confer unrestricted power to the authority to silence online criticism and impose a penalty on the circulation of false information online. And media also got such a regulation that they cannot choose to write the several topics such as human rights. They can be taken down just because that topic not inherent with what the Lao PDR authority wanted to be appear in their national media. The next one will be Vietnam. So in Vietnam, the Communist Party of Vietnam considered maintaining the strong stance against those who express dissent or dissenting voices to speak a truth to power, and the individuals are met with extreme uh, oppression by the authorities, while a broad criminal defamation provision is entailed in the criminal code. The Vietnam authority actually rarely utilize it, invoking the frequently Article 117 and 1331 of the criminal code to charge individuals for defaming the government. And besides that, the law on cybersecurity and numerous decrees are used to defy the constitutional and legal provision guaranteeing the freedom of expression and information. Many of the provision of decree restrict the freedom of expression, while other decree make it as a crime to post or share fake news on a social network. So this is really dangerous because the definition of fake news only on the authority or on the Communist Party of Vietnam. And journalists are fined and prosecuted for criticizing the government and promoting democracy, also discussing things that are sensitive as a sensitive matters online, just like what happened to national media in Lao PDR. For instance, there is a journalist, Nguyen Phong, Mu Hin Tuan, and Ham Chi Dung were sentenced to a total 37 years for sharing the anti-state propaganda under Article 117 of the Criminal Code. And other 5 journalists were likewise sentenced to prison for anti-state posts on Facebook, and they were banned from working for 3 years. So this will be about Thailand. in Thailand, we are working as one of the author for Freedom on the Net, Manusaya Foundation, and we are the co-author of Thailand because the Freedom on the Net actually related to the media censorship as well, since we live in the digital age. And for Thailand, there is no progress, I could say like that, because the authority have weaponized a law and policies to censor information and target journalists, human rights defender, and activists in the activity that relation to a criticism, the monarchy, and the government. In the past years, many young people or uh, youth, they become a citizen journalist and reporting the truth of what is happening in Thailand. But the state actor and large corporation have long wielded a defamation provision under the penal code to target these journalists and activists who bring the light uh, of human rights violation or share information that are critical of the regime. And this is having such a chilling effect on their legitimate work. As such, a committee was established to investigate defamatory content against the Prime Minister in June 2021. And furthermore, there is unduly restrictive laws such as a Computer Crime Act. This CCA imposing a restriction on freedom of expression online by punishing individuals who disseminate fake news via online means and several provisions under the criminal code or Article 112 on lest bias. And I wanted to share actually about Thailand, the latest event that happening a few days ago. This is about a two Thai journalist arrested for reporting on temple vandalism. And the police say journalists were charged with collaborating in vandalizing an historical site in an incident last year. So these two journalists related to Prachatai. I believe Prachatai also part of this PFMSea. And this news I cited from Al Jazeera just 3 days ago. The next one is Indonesia and then Singapore. In Indonesia, I mentioned about IT law. So even though this law already amended just a few months ago, but we can say there is no progress as well. This is just like a new version because still as a rubber law, and the defamation provision are enshrined in the penal code, also the IT law, as well as the criminal code. And the IT law has been misused to criminalize hundreds of people for exercising their right to freedom of expression. Actually, this is not the updated numbers, but our coalition will launch the first thematic report, and it will consist as well about Indonesia, including the media censorship that covered until the December 2023. And for Singapore, the Singaporean authority have increasingly, they use such harsh and overly broad laws to restrict and prosecute the speech that are critical to the regime, to the government, and censoring independent media. They extremely strict defamation provision in the switch brought under the Defamation Act and systematically used to silence dissenting voices and activists. There is a few names such as Terry Sue, as a contributor, and Daniel De Costa of the Online Citizen went on trial on charges of a criminal defamation that related to a PAP leadership of a corruption. And in November of 2021, each was convicted of defaming cabinet members. Moreover, there is a series of repressive law criminalize online activity and hamper the enjoyment of online freedom by individuals. So this is actually such in a different direction on how Singapore known as the hub of technology, hub of digital transformation, but in terms of freedom of expression and media freedom that involve the online sphere, there is many action to remove or disable online content. And journalists in Singapore are disproportionately impacted by default as the issue on which they work are under increased state oversight and control. Okay, so this is the underlying factors that I could analyze. The first one about the solidarity among authoritarian regime in Southeast Asia. We talk many times about solidarity among civil society or solidarity among press, independent journalists, but maybe we are left behind compared to how the regime in each country in Southeast Asia extended their solidarity. So we need to be ahead of them in increasing our solidarity. And other factors, there is a lack of clear legal instrument. In Indonesia, people call it as IT law, as arable law, and there is a weaponization and normalization of national security that approved by people or commoner that still need to increase their critical thinking about what actually national security really means, because by the national security itself, the activists and this is include journalists in Philippines, in example, would be easily red tagging as a terrorist. And the definition of terrorism or terrorist in Southeast Asia also still blurry, and that can be involved to a civil society, including journalists or the party that are really vulnerable, at least the citizen journalists on this matter. And the third one, there is about lack of accountability. We talk about a business and human rights. We cannot lie that media company also part of business, and there is also involvement of tech companies as we live in current age, the digital age. There is also the limited privacy setting that we need to build a bridging between the civil society and tech companies, also media companies, for them to not involve or complicit to the violation of human rights, and to normalize the censorship for media. And the last one, I analyzed as the unclear reporting mechanism to law enforcement and unclear consequence for perpetrators. So yeah, that's all my presentation. Before open to the next part, I get back to you, to the moderator. Thank you.
Thanks, Chandra. I really like the part you said about how these regimes, authoritarian regimes, are in solidarity with one another, and that means we need to do that even more, right? We need to increase that solidarity among us more than ever. So thank you so much for that. We'll get back to you with some additional questions after this, but now we're going to pass the time to Nopvi from Cambodia. V, are you there?
Yeah, I am here, Ian. Thank you very much.
Problem.
Yeah, and thank you for everyone. I really appreciate with the presentation from Max, and also very appreciate with your your hardworking and also your passion. Even though you have got a lot of challenge, to exercise your right, your freedom in Philippines, but you have still crossings to those challenge, those obstacles until you can survive the access to Filipino information. So this is very appreciated, and we of course establishing the regional monitoring collaboration in order to offer the support and also to be there another layer of support to the local journalist organization or media outlet as well. So thank you very much, and also I really appreciate with the presentation from Devi, who very comprehensive regarding to the situation of the challenges of the independent journalists across the regions, across the ASEAN country. Please let me, before going directly to the presentation on the, Southeast Asia Monitoring Collaboration Partner, let me just, to highlight a little bit because it also mentioned by, the speaker, previous panelists about the situation, and also want to highlight about the situation of the independent journalists and the press freedom in Cambodia as well. And of course, we have similar challenges. Through my observation, based on what the speaker has presented, I have observed the challenges for the regional journalists, especially while the regional government has been using legislative, the law as the weapons to attacks, to shut down the civic space, to shut down the press freedom, and also independent journalists. As the previous speaker already highlights about the cybersecurity draft law in Vietnam, the penal code has been using by different government in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in Cambodia. In Cambodia, Cambodian government has been using the incitement in our criminal code on Article 493, 494, 95, effectively to accuse not only the independent journalists but the social media user, political activists, and also human rights defender as well. Just recently, last week, at least one complaint has been filed against the human rights, a local human rights officer who've been working very effectively and reporting, about the human rights situation, human rights case to the independent journalist as well. The spokesperson of the local human rights staff is also the member of the Cambodian Journalists Alliance Association. So we also very paid a lot of attention to this case. It's another case, the complaint filed by the government lawyer against the leader of the opposition party in Cambodia. So this is how the government using penal code as weapon to weaponize the freedom of expression online and also to attack the human rights defender. I also observe that even though in Cambodia, the government has been drafting, a lot of draft law, and the draft law, intending to, control the space of the internet. For example, the drafting of the cyber security law, the draft of the cybercrime law. I think, some of the country, they already, the government already passed those law. However, at the country like Vietnam, like I know that, in Myanmar as well, that, the cyber security law, very similar to what been drafting by the Cambodian government. The Cambodian government also draft the personal data protection law, additional to the current existing penal code, telecommunication law, and also other sub-degree. For example, like the government established the sub-degree of the National Internet Gateway in 2021. That permit governments to shut down the internet traffic from Cambodia, from the outside world, and also other, broadcasts by the Ministry of, Information to withdraw the media license from the media company as well, without, any proceedings through the judiciary system. We also, experience a lot on the, joint broadcast by the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Information, and Ministry of and Telecommunication to control on internet, traffic and internet user in Cambodia. That those ministry, publish the broadcast in 2028 before the national election. So those are the trend, and also we are now, suffer a similar situation, similar, restriction from the authority, especially, from the authoritarian government. So what we are doing, I think this is the question, and this is what we have to come together for our webinar today. And also, another, a lot of panel discussion, a lot of dialogue has been established at the regional level as well to explore and to find a way how, the local organization, the community organization can come together to build solidarity, to share our common issue and also share our common strategy in order to tackle those challenges and also threat for our work. So please let me call Novis to share the presentation, and also I would like to present to you regarding to the initiative from our regional collaboration. I think this is only one initiative among the other that I expect that you all who participate in the discussion, in the webinar discussion today, can also share with us to what you are thinking and what you thought that we can do together in order to address the common concern, in order to improve the press freedom at each country and at the regional level. So Novi, can you just share the slide presentation, please? In my slide presentation, actually, I will, show you, what the partner, regional partner, been doing. Yeah. So please go to next slide. Please, let me introduce to who we are. Because I have seen that most of participants may be not aware yet about our coalition, because we have been working together for at least 2 years already, and we also accuse several outcome already as well, in order to promote and to provide access to the information regarding to the journalist situation, the press freedom at the regional level, that you can also aware from our platform. So the press freedom monitoring in Southeast Asia, we call in short the PFMSea coalition, consists at least 7 media organizations. From Cambodia, we have Cambodian Journalist Alliance Association. From Indonesia, we have IG, and at least 2 organization, journalist organization in Malaysia, CIJ, and also JERAM. from Prachathai in Thailand. In Philippines, we have NUJP, and also from Timor Leste, we have AJTL. So this is who we are, and we come together in order to, establish the joint monitoring platform. So please go to the next slide. And then this is, our monitoring platform. After years of our collaboration, we have decided, and also published the platform, which is, using to, express, the situation, especially, to release information to the public regarding to the case of harassment against the journalists across the 6 countries. We are, we expected to expand to the partner in other country as well, to make sure that we are able to, produce the fully report and also to present to the, publics and also to the partner donor about the situation of the journalists and also harassment against journalists across ASEAN country. However, right now we, have at least, 6 countries that we, we are monitoring the case. And of course, this is our result. So through this monitoring, I think you can see, the number of the case that we have monitored. When you zoom into, the number, present to you on the screen of the website pfmc.org. And then you can see at in total of the 399 case, of harassment against journalists, across the 6 countries, that we have observed when since we established our monitoring platform. So among the 399, when you zoom in, you can see, the number of the case in each country. For example, in Cambodia, you can see at least, 66 cases that we reported into the regional platform. In Thailand, we recorded 45 cases. In Myanmar, we also show at least 5 cases. In Philippines, 111 cases, and other country as well. In Indonesia, in Timor Leste, in Malaysia, so you can takes the case, you can see the case, you can also find out additional information through the report that we have we have been publishing in this monitoring platform. On the monitoring, you can see those cases. And we also provide, very specific report. For example, on the right side of the monitoring platform, you can see, the information based on country. For example, the case of journalists who were harassed, arrested recently in Thailand, and it also published by our monitoring platform, our collaboration as well. So you can see the case. You can also find out the press release that our collaborative partner joined together in order to express our concern regarding to the harassment on the specific case, and also our demand to international community and also the government in each countries to respect, especially to their commitment on human rights, freedom of expression, and also their obligation regarding to for example, like international declaration for human rights, ICCPR as well. So this is what we have highlighted in our monitoring platform. You can also find out the infographics that our partner created and also published in our platform, and you also can use it. You also can support us just disseminate those advocacy material to make sure that publics are aware about the situation, and also join us with the solidarity in order to support the press freedom and to promote the independent media across the region. So we also provide, the report, annual report that you can find, from the each country across the region. For example, the annual report, press freedom situation in Indonesia, with in the bottom of the platform, and then you can also access other report as well from Cambodia, from Timor Leste, from Malaysia, other country. We expect that additional report will be provided from other country in order to make sure that this platform can be used, fully, and also provided with a comprehensive information to the stakeholder, to make sure that we are able to support, to provide, comprehensive information for, additional use, especially, like our previous speaker raised about the mechanism of UN Human Rights Special Rapporteur that has been using, our report as the reference when, they coming to monitor, to measure the human rights situation in each country. Yeah, so I think this is the platform, and please let goes to the next slide, Novi. Yeah, and this is what our focus. We also expect that the partner and also external organization can join with us in order to achieve this. This is only initiate among the regional partner for our future work. We actually set our goal to improve this resilience of the media freedom and journalist protection across Southeast Asia, thereby advancing democratic value in the region. So how to achieve it? We also expect that, a few of immediate income will be accomplished. For example, the first income regarding to information and data about the press freedom in South Asia is readily available. Second, outcome is resilience of the media network that provided solidarity and protection mechanisms to enable local journalists to exercise their freedom. And the third one is, capacity building to the journalists, to the CSO as well, because we have, I know that we have different best practice from the different country, like Cambodia after the independent media shutdown in 2017. We have learned that, the critical role of the CSO has been working very actively and supporting to promote access to information for Cambodian people and to educate the people regarding to what been happening at the national level, and also what the political affair at the national level as well. The issue is that we have to extend the collaboration. We have to extend this capacity building to the CSO at the community level, and without the collaboration together, without the solidarity, it will be very challenges to achieve this outcome. We set up, we established several activity to achieve this outcome, but according to our limitation of our time, I am very sorry that I cannot present to you to what we are going to do for our 5-year strategy, joint strategy among the partner. So go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking to what we should do, together. Of course, we have already built monitoring collaboration coalition, and among the 6 countries, among 7 organizations. So the mechanism should be strengthened. And without the support of international organization, without the support of the donor to each local organization, I'm also thinking a big challenge, to strengthen the international mechanism, the regional mechanism. The regional mechanism, I think it is very important. It is very, necessary in order to, connect, the partner at the local level to provide the capacity building, to provide the, the platform, the joint platform together as well. I also, through this best practice of establishment monitoring platform, I am also seeing some other opportunities that, the media outlet across the region can come together in order to establish the different networking as well. Of course, I have heard in raisings about the, investigative journalism network. Of course, like Cambodia, reaching out to you, reaching out to everyone, because we would like to strengthen our, solidarity. We would like to, asking for the support from the regional partner. I'm also looking for, additional, collaboration in order to establish, like the joint a new platform as well, because we have learned recently that the South Asia globe, was enforced to shut down because of the funding. We cannot stay, we cannot just, be quiet and things the independent media outlet, enforced to be closed one by one like that. So we have to stand up. We have to find, the possibility that we can come together, we can offer our support. So this is, the things that we should, provoke for discussion, provoke for, the initiative idea, release things in order to offer the support. I think existing, mechanism can be used as well, can be used effectively by the regional partner. For example, the Global Internet Governance Forum. I know that maybe some of our partner maybe, having less knowledge about the Global Internet Governance Forum, while, even though Cambodia ourselves, we tries to, get information from our in-country partner, we would like to extend our, capacity to engage with this forum, Global Digital Compact. This is, created by the UN, and I know that this will be, operating soon. UNHRC, ICCPR, UPR. This is the thing. This is international advocacy to promote the press freedom, and this is my mission today in Geneva, that I try to, negotiate, try to lobby with, international partner in order to support with our advocacy, that they can lobby our in-country government to, review what they committed with the UPR cycle in the previous cycle, and what they should do in order to improve the situation. UN plan of action, that we have learned from the last 10 years, but the journalists in Cambodia, they know less about the, UN plan of action. Please go to the next slide. I think it's almost finished. Yeah, like the other platforms, Stockholm Internet Forum, Global Investigative Journalism Network, ASEAN People Forum, we are going to engage, this year by organizing the or co-hosting, some of the forum discuss about the press freedom, freedom of expression, civic space, and also the press freedom. Of course, we are going to establish the press freedom during the press freedom day or any time together in order to raising awareness, to mobilize more support in our advocacy purpose. So I think this is not all, but just from our perspective, from what we are thinking right now. And of course, we welcome your input, we welcome your contribution, suggestion, and also more initiative in order to provoke the common thing that we can do together, to achieve our common goal. So thank you very much, and also very appreciate for your participation in this event organized by the Joint Monitoring Collaboration Coalition. And then thank you very much for your facilitation, Ian. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, V. Thanks for that. So now it's time for us to go to the Q&A. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or through the Q&A function. Just give everybody some time to think about that. And while you do that, I have obviously some initial questions to start with. I want to know, the first one would be for V and anybody else here who is from PFMC to answer. Have any of the reports that you have that were uploaded to the platform, what kind of impact have they created, or has they led to support for any particular cases? Can you share a bit about that, V?
Actually, we have published several reports in our platform. Like I just presented to you, annual report produced by, each country. I can just raise, very specific report produced by a Cambodian Journalist Alliance Association, because we working in Cambodia. In Cambodia, the situation of the press freedom, independent journalists very restricted, and also, a lot of threat, from the legal accusation, even those, the physical harassment, online harassment against the female journalist as well. We not just working alone in the country, but we try to extend, the networking connections to other, working group. For example, like, Cambodia working internally with, other working group to promote freedom of expression and also digital right and internet freedom. In 2021, the Cambodian government established the National Internet Gateway, like I have presented. Of course, it's very harm to the internet freedom. So Cambodia, provoke for, like collaboration and discussion, analyze on the National Internet Gateway sub-degree. And we also call for intervention, because we also, disseminate our report to UN, to the special human rights rapporteur in Cambodia, on human rights in Cambodia. We also, working in connection with the UN special procedure as well, based in Geneva. So, we have seen the intervention through the statement released by the special rapporteur, UN human rights procedure, UN, rapporteur on the freedom of expression. So finally, I think it also create impact, because government decided to suspend the implementation of the National Internet Gateway. And some other impacts that we have observed in the country. We call for governments to disclose the cybercrime draft law, because government have several times discussed among their technical working group. They have never release the zero draft to the CSO and to the public for the consultation, for input. And this is the message of our advocacy. We never, make our comment on the leaked draft. So we request government to, disclose the zero draft for our input. Even though government not release the draft yet, but government release the draft law. Government call, the digital right working group in Cambodia to provide input on cyber security draft law. And even though, they provided only 1 month to CSO to provide input, we requested for further time, additional time for providing input. And Ministry of Power and Telecom decided to add another month. So, they sometimes also listens to us. And other law also requested the additional, input from civil society as well. For example, like personal data protection draft law. So personal data protection draft law have also provided, like additional input. We also observed the Cambodian government conducted workshop on UPO with CSO in Cambodia. They still collaborate with, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, UN High Commissioner for Human Rights in the country. I don't expect they accepted our recommendation regarding to the UPO, but at least we remaining a space for engagement with them as well. And of course, we are looking, and also working to build the space for engagement, because what we believe that, without engagement, without the space, it's will be, no way that we can improve the situation.
All right, thanks for that, V. I see that we have someone whose hand is raised. Nuraki, do you have a question you'd like to ask? Is there a way to unmute, or you can type your question into the chat? Sorry. All right, I see some messages now, some direct messages here, questions. There's one question for Chandra. What kind of digital attacks tend that media and journalists need to mitigate for in the future. So yeah, what are some of the new trends in terms of digital attacks that journalists should be aware of? And there's another question from Mark. How do alternative media in the Philippines develop or create resilience together with the new government? Interesting question. So we'll go with Chandra first and over to Mark.
Okay, Ian. Thank you for the question. So for the current attack, when we live in the digital age, but also we live in the such as the rise of authoritarianism. So we can pronounce it as a digital authoritarianism, where our governments, not only one, but the government in this region use online surveillance and censorship to control the flow of information. So this is poses a significant challenge to media freedom and uh, up as the censorship for the media in the region. I could say like Pegasus mainly knowing enter in the Thailand as well as in Indonesia, but there is still probability to entering another country in Southeast Asia, because even though for Indonesia that not build the diplomatic tea with uh, Israel, the company NSO company where this Pegasus company located, still this surveillance or malware entering Indonesia via Singapore. So this is can be the digital attack that need to be aware by journalists, independent journalists in many platforms, not only online but also in the conventional media, in the electronic media. In Indonesia, there are a few of journalists that inform that they attacked by this kind of spyware, and the education, the knowledge about digital security, it takes time actually, but it's also urgent for civil society, and I believe journalists as one of the main core of a civil society, because not only activists or a human rights defender, journalists has such on a vulnerable, and it indicated by the recent report that related to Pegasus. Also, this report cited by the Citizen Lab, one of the think tank in University of Toronto, and few months or I believe like a few years ago in Thailand also as there is a similar situation and similar cases, and that's not only to journalists but also to a politician political opponent, and for the human rights defender. They try to sue to the court by many way, not only by private but also in criminal procedure. And this is one of the things that need to be taken care by journalists in the Southeast Asia, the digital security itself. It started from recognize ourselves as vulnerable, but not as vulnerable as we victimize ourselves, but acknowledge ourselves not as a commoner people, not like the commoner because we are targeted from the start. That's all I can explain. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you for that. And Mark, the question about developing resilience together with the new government in the Philippines.
All right. So actually, the relationship of journalists with the current government of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is quite different from the previous administration. Um, there haven't if we followed the previous administration, the administration of former President Rodrigo Duterte, he was very he directly attacked the media through his speeches, through his pronouncements. But this administration is quite different. It's different because the president doesn't really say anything about the media. Actually, he's been very um, open with talking to the media. But what happens is there are instances that the government, his administration has been doing a lot of actions against the media while not really saying anything about. So attacks continue against journalists in the Philippines. The president isn't saying anything about this. His administration is not saying anything about uh, or he himself, the president is not saying anything about press freedom. But his officials are always there to say something about the media. That the media here in the Philippines is vibrant, as opposed to what we are saying, what we are experiencing here. So we have Frenchie May Cumpio, who's jailed since 2020, February 2020. We have 4 journalists who have been killed under this administration, under the current administration. So even if the current president, is not saying anything about it, press freedom violations, censorship, journalists' killings are still rampant, are still continuing to happen, still continue to happen here in our country. So uh, we also have journalists here also have some sort of unity and solidarity among ourselves, both from the alternative and mainstream media. So we have organizations like the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, which which is working with different organizations also to train journalists on media security, digital security, and also on um, uh, safety, journalist safety. So they've been really active in reaching out, not just to journalists here in the capital in Manila, but also to journalists, especially those in the provinces or those who belong to the community, in the community journalism.
So in other words, trying to create resilience together with this new government, do you see that happening? Is that something CSOs, media organizations would look into?
Uh, to me personally, it doesn't really look really bright. It's quite the government has this presidential task force on media security, but they've been downplaying what we're saying. So oh the so that agency, Petiforms for short. So they've been telling other journalists who've been harassed or who experience harassment and other forms of violation. They've been telling those journalists to, oh, you should not file a case, you should not do anything, so just let the situation subside. So if that government agency isn't really doing anything or to protect press freedom and journalists here in the Philippines, so it's basically a useless government agency.
So as mentioned by Chandra earlier, the solidarity among media organizations across the region is still very, very important. Thank you so much for that. And I see, Haruming, you have your hand raised as well. If you have a question, you can try to unmute and see whether we can hear you. If not, you can please send your questions to the Aji Indonesia uh, account, and they will DM it to me. For now, there is another question via direct message as well. This one is for all of you. Does China's increasing influence in Southeast Asia, pose challenges for media and journalists in the region? So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I can just say, I aware, the influence from, Chinese government to, several sector in the country in ASEAN. Through the report released recently by the Double Thing Lab based in Taiwan. We have learned the influence in from China into the media sector in Cambodia, to economics, politics, foreign policy as well, into the influence in like economics, military in Thailand, in Malaysia as well. That's a lot of concern has been raised, and we also have concern regarding to their influence, because the influence from the Chinese government into the local media organization, it also impacts to not only the independent media, not only to the freedom of the media to report about the case, which is impacts to the local community because of the Chinese investment in each country, but also impacts to the like their solidarity among the journalists in each country as well. In Cambodia, we observe a lot of their journalists from different media outlets been invited by the Chinese, to have like exchange program. We also have seen the joint venture of investment between the Chinese company with the big, mass media company, the tycoon who own at least 3 television in the country, radio station, and the station cannot report what the negative impact from the Chinese investment regarding to electricity dam in the country. So what we can do, we only we try to produce content. We try to advocate for everyone to build. And we also another concern is their this dissemination, this information, misinformation which is which has been spread across the social media. So what we are doing right now is to build the education to raise awareness about the media information, digital literacy. We also trying to engage with some of the UN agency, and also in the government ministry, such as the Ministry of Power and Telecom as well, in order to move ahead with their media information digital literacy framework that they already established. We also educate the Ministry of Information to streaming their media information literacy into the education system. We also, some of our partner in Cambodia established their fact checks, and also training university student on media information literacy. So this is what we are doing, and we expect to expand the producing content to verify, to fact check the other serious sensitive information, and also to build safeguarding for the partner, the local organization who are able to produce that content as well.
Brilliant. Thanks, V. I'm gonna move to Mark. The same question about China's increasing influence. What challenges does that pose for journalists in the Philippines?
Oh, for us here in the Philippines, we've been reporting about the aggression of the Chinese Coast Guard against our fishermen in the West Philippine Sea or in the South China Sea. So I think there's a consensus among the media here in the Philippines that we should defend our sovereignty on that part of South China Sea. And we've been reporting these incidents where they force fishermen to move away, they force fishermen to um, throw their catch back to the sea. So I think for us journalists, it's clear for us that it is our duty to also defend our territory, especially in those contested waters. We've been reporting about this since the time of former President Noynoy Aquino, the late President Aquino, especially when they filed a case to the International Court of Arbitration, which we actually won in 2016. So I think yeah, there's a consensus among journalists here in the Philippines that China is also a threat to our national sovereignty and territory. Ian, I think you're on mute.
Sorry. And over to you, Chandra, same question.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So, as myself, not a media worker or journalist, but my work consists of defenders, and that also includes journalists. According to my daily monitoring, that consists of digital rights, also Southeast ASEAN. Yes, I would second what we just mentioned about there is the rise of exchange or cooperation between Chinese media outlet and media outlet in Southeast Asia, particularly for a media outlet that located in mainland Southeast Asia, Laos, PDR, Cambodia, Thailand, as well as Malaysia. Uh, According to the monitoring that since last year, few months ago, I still remember the very first news about the exchange and the long run cooperation that about Chinese media outlet with Lao PDR. And this is as Manusaya also working on the TNR or transnational repression, and I believe we cannot separate the media freedom, media censorship with the transnational repression. This is also vulnerable for journalists, not only journalists in Southeast Asia, but also journalists in Chinese, especially the journalists that independent and vocal about the state regulation, Chinese regulation. I could mention, if I could mention one name, he's Lu Siwei, one of the independent journalists that work for Radio Free Asia, and this is a case that involved the media freedom, media censorship, but also transnational repression. In other side, the government, both of government, try to increase their solidarity by using a cooperation, development cooperation as the justification, but we cannot close our eyes and say that just regular cooperation, because at the end that's such a extended hand for repression of journalists, and if it can be or happened from the journalists in China, it also increase the probability for journalists in Southeast Asia when we entering the region, the territory of China, we can be one of the repressed person or the person that attacked by another government just because this kind of a cooperation or media cooperation. That's what I analyze according to our monitoring.
Right. Right, thanks. V, you have your hand
It's
raised.
just short, and I also have seen, the participant maybe still question about what the coalition is. Southeast Asia, we are among the, 6 country in ASEAN create this coalition called Press Freedom Monitoring in Southeast Asia. So Press Freedom Monitoring Southeast Asia Coalition, the part is the coalition who has been working to monitor all the case of harassment against journalists across the ASEAN. But right now we also limited their capacity to monitor in other country besides the 6 country that we have comes together right now, but we also are going to extend. So another additional information that from the CSO and media forum conducted in Bali in December last year. There's a lot of questions regarding to what everyone can work together to promote civic space and also the press freedom. And of course, there are few partners were invited to raise their to present to what they've been doing in order to address the China influence across the region as well. Of course, the fact checking is the one that they are doing, and I also have learned that we need the mechanism, we need the network of fact checking across the region, so we can consider how the fact checking organization can come together to establish this mechanism across the region.
Thanks. And I want to address Ed's comment as well in the chat. Thanks for drawing our attention to this. There's a new network for media organizations in Southeast Asia that appears to be founded and funded by Beijing. So very, very interesting. And also Ika here has a question. I think maybe we're gonna take this as our last question unless anything else comes up. So given the rising economic and political interests of China in this region, what's the worst situation that we could see coming up? What's that? I'm guessing, Ika, you're asking about like a worst case scenario. Ika, do you want to clarify? Is that correct?
Yes, it just to making mitigation for Asia, how we can to aware about the China's influence for next, and also because not all the media and journalists in this region aware about this issue. Yeah, I think this is important. Maybe you have the exact of the research, the new research, you can know about what how we can to know about the world's situation if the influence is still rising, yeah, in upcoming years. Maybe after the election result in several region in Southeast Asia, we know that as like in Indonesia have a very close close relation with China. So I think it's a very important to can mapping about the worst case in the next. Thank you.
Right. So the worst case scenarios, in terms of, I'm guessing, in terms of risks, and maybe how should we mitigate against those risks?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Who would like to go first? Who would like to take this?
If no one, I can also share from my perspective as well. One of interesting trend. It's not just helpful for the independent media outlet, but what is the concern that we also have seen as well regarding to the donation from China to the local civil society and the local media organization. This is, I think, will create will push to another worst scenario and also the worst situation that Ika just raised the concern. While in Cambodia itself, the trend from the international organization to support their like the CSO, independent CSO, and also independent journalists become the challenges. While just last 2 years, a few of the independent and also the support to journalists and CSO organization, at least two donor phase out from Cambodia. By late of this year, the SIDA will phase out from Cambodia, and last 2 year, Finchurch Aid also phase out from Cambodia as well. Those are very supportive donor to the independent media organization. However, we have seen, other support from China's government to, other the local media outlets, such as what I have, introduced to you regarding to, the support to the local journalists to have exchange program, to also, let the local media, local journalists to establish the, media outlet as well. So the side effect will, be, happen, after the independent media outlet will be, closed down, will be reduced from time to time, while the media outlet which receive the support from China will be increased, and also the losing of the role of the watchdog of the independent journalist in the country. So who will monitor the election process? Who will report about the transparency corruption issue in the country? Who will push governments to be more accountable with the public, with the public interest as well? So this is the issue. This is the seriously concerned.
We have one more question for you, V, from Ed. What is the work of PFMC on the situation of Myanmar, which is arguably the most urgent situation affecting media freedom and journalist safety?
I think right now we have, it's so we have not, worked much on, like Myanmar, while we are about the change situation, the change situation in Myanmar that, creates a lot of risky for Myanmar journalists as well, while some of them now living exile in Chiang Mai, Thailand. So we hope we can, work more on that.
Maybe we can just end with one last word from you, V. How can people support the work of PFMC? Whoever is listening here, what can they do to support your work?
Please have us to disseminate our campaign material. This is what everyone can do in order to mobilize the public support to what we are doing. Of course, we express our support to Thai journalists. Just recently, arrest of the 2 Thai journalists. So we try to create infographic. Our statement, please have to disseminate. Please also, pass the statements to, the international community that you've been working with. To strengthen the collaboration, please also consider to, because we also, the most challenge is the funding as well for our coalition that we are now, as another hand, we try to strengthen our capacity. We try to build, the strategy that we can work together. But as another hand, we try to, engage with the international community, development partner to help us to boost our capacity. That we can achieve our strategy. I would like to encourage the international community not to just work and support one organization, but to support everyone in the coalition in order to let us achieve our strategy. To not just provide in the very specific and short-term project that won't be achieve anything, but to work together to coordinate among the international community itself, to make sure that, okay, there is enough of support, to the coalitions, to the mechanism that will be established by the local initiative as well as regional initiative.
All right. Thank you so much for that, V. On that note, I think that is all the time we have for today. We'd like to thank everybody for attending. And I also like to say thanks to PFMC for organizing this and for having me to moderate this as well. It's very clear that the challenge that lies ahead is immense in terms of trying to defend press freedom in this region. Monitoring and providing solidarity, I think, are just the most basic things we can do. But hopefully from this conversation, we will have other further conversations moving forward on how we can collaborate on different levels as well. So thank you all for your time and hope you all have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ian.
Thank you, Nopi, Chandra, Mark. Thank you, everyone, and the participation.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.